Tonight, is the absence of adult content on Verizon's new iPhone the real reason for Egypt's riots? Marrying your sandwich, at least you can choose how much fat you want on your spouse. And finally, Snowmageddon. Well, that pretty much says it all right there. From all of us at LMAO News, this is LMAO News. Good evening, Milwaukee, and welcome to Live Milwaukee All Over, your only choice for news you would not otherwise hear. Joining me tonight to discuss the world's happenings are Russ Mutza, official Google user and author of the book, Just Google It. And to my left is Joe Ponto, senior researcher of everything at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello.
A report has just been published detailing of the true cause of Egypt's riots. When the iPhone was released on Verizon, many Egyptians bought the phone and immediately used it to browse adult content. Now, President Mubarak didn't oppose this until he realized that his contract with AT&T wasn't up. He immediately cut off all internet access to computers and mobile devices in Cairo. And as you can see, the people aren't happy. Russ, how can the Egyptian government continue to oppress its people?
Well, the truth is that the one thing that I like about the iPhone is that it's there to make your life easier. It's not there to make riots.
This is true. However, the iPhone is a square, and that intrinsically makes it kind of evil. I think people want to use its powers for bad, especially Egypt, because
Russ,
I don't think that it's evil because the square shape makes it really easy to fit in your pocket, and also if you want to tape it all up and send it through the mail to one of your friends, you can.
This is true. People they like mailing things, right? I think that's mostly this Facebook, Twitter culture, right? The only other thing they like doing is mailing things. And I personally, I would mail things if I wasn't like 50 years old, right? But I am. So therefore, I don't really mail things. But I do push the like button on things that aren't the iPhone, because screw the iPhone. That's what I say.
we have to bring this topic back to Egypt, though. Egypt, iPhones. Gentlemen.
Well, the truth is that I think that their protests started inside of the iPhone universe. They started it up on their Facebook apps, and when he realized that he couldn't join in on their riots, he wanted to shut them down right away. And once they did, they had to take it to the streets. They had no other option.
All right, now when you say iPhone, what do you mean?
By iPhone, I mean just the coolest little thing that you've ever been able to spend $500 on. Just the thing that you need to have with you at all times, because before this, what did you do when you couldn't watch YouTube while you're driving?
I still can't watch YouTube while I'm driving.
You're missing out. I'm sorry.
Okay, so
well, I don't know. I feel like the iPhone itself is the reason people are rioting right now. Because it's so terrible that I think people got so angry at how terrible it was that this reflected on Mubarak, because he kind of looks like an iPhone, right? Mm-hmm. And people thought, well, like I hate iPhones, and he looks like one, and and my friend didn't push the like button on my Facebook comment, so people got angry, and they said we got to get out into the streets and break chairs and things, we got to set things on fire and throw stuff around, and I think that's all because of Steve Jobs.
So I always thought that Steve Jobs built the iPhone in his own image, because with his whole facial profile, he kind of looks like an iPhone.
This is true as well.
Are you saying?
I think there's a duality of evil going on. There's Mubarak and there's Steve Jobs, and if you put them together, you could bake a pie that looks like Hitler, or something equally, well, maybe even something more terrible. Like maybe throw in like burnt pizza or something. Like Hitler and burnt pizza and like that feeling you get when you scratch a chalkboard. If you could put that in a pie, that'd be, man. I know, right? Yeah, that's how I feel when I think of Steve Jobs Hitler pie.
So you're saying that Steve Jobs Hitler pie is the iPhone?
Exactly. That is, I think we've brought it full circle, and now we have the Steve Jobs Hitler pie iPhone amalgamation. Essentially, it's the holy trinity of evil. There's the Nicene Creed that Christianity created. I think in 2011 we got the terrible evil creed of triangularity, deadly lava.
We need to finish.
Lava.
Recently, Congress has proposed a bill allowing men to marry their sandwiches. This could possibly bring about the trafficking and selling of sandwiches at shady subways. Joe, would you marry your sandwich?
Personally, yes. And especially, I think the biggest reason is because when I look at hot women, I think of like toasted sub sandwiches.
Don't we all?
Yeah. I know.
I know I do.
Oh yes. You know, and when I go to the strip club, I sit there and as I'm putting money in G-strings, I'm thinking, man, I am eating a sandwich right now. Like right now, there is a delicious sandwich in my face. You know, I really not like that. Like I'm not attracted at all to the girl.
Right.
I'm only thinking of a sandwich. You know, so that's why I usually buy a sandwich and put it in my car, and then when I leave the strip club, I have the sandwich there, and it's there, and like they never leave. Like they're so better than women.
Russ, would you marry your sandwich?
I personally would not, because I feel like if I could go down to Subway every day and pick out a new sandwich, I should feel free to do that. I'm a young man. I'm just running around with all the sandwiches that I'd like.
How does a bag of chips fit into a healthy diet?
I don't think that a bag of chips fits in at all. Although sometimes I do like to include it on my little affair that I have with sandwiches. I don't feel like it's appropriate for mainstream society.
Joe, could you eat a sandwich knowing it had a bag of chips?
Yes, you know, actually, I do practice polyamory. I'm a little polyamorous. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I would get a sandwich, and then also, you know, later on maybe throw some mayo on that sandwich, and then also have some chips with the sandwich. I could put the chips next to the sandwich and be like, hey guys, I'm gonna enjoy both of you at the same time. And you know, some of the sandwiches they're a little crazy. You know, they do that kind of stuff.
Really quick, before use a pretty big word in this show.
Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me,
polyamorous. Yeah, it means that Steve Jobs, his ego is so huge that it like engulfs pretty much the Milky Way. Like
we have a word for that.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's not, I mean, it's like it doesn't go beyond our own galaxy, but you know, our own galaxy is pretty big. You know, so when you talk about iPhones, obviously we go back to burnt pizza and lava.
Russ, response.
I personally, I have to worry about your sandwich, because seeing you eat chips while your sandwich is sitting right there, I think that's pretty crazy. But
it is crazy. That's why it's exciting. It's exciting because it's crazy. Because I mean, like, most people wouldn't do that, right? That's why I like it.
See, the truth is that I may be running around eating all the sandwiches that I'd like, but I still respect the sandwich. Although I am the Google of the book, Just Google It, and I went to my. I'm the author of the book, Just Google It.
I believe he's the book as well. Yeah.
I also
he's the book as well.
I based it on my own appearance. It's actually in the shape of my head.
Oh, that's clever.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
I have seen it. I liked it. Yeah.
That way people can reach into my thoughts, which are inside of my head-shaped book. But I went to my research center, which I like to call Google, and I went through it, and it turns out that sandwiches don't have feelings. So every day, when I go down and pick up a new sandwich, take it to a little shady piece of town, and I eat it and throw it in the garbage or out on the street, it doesn't mind.
Yeah, just that's exactly what I do with women. Yeah. But the thing is, they react just slightly differently. But sandwiches are great because, you know, I can keep them in the kitchen all the time, like women, and they don't like do all that. Kitchen, damn, you know, why am I locked to the thing? You know, I'm like, right? I mean, there's just I don't understand it at all either. But that's, you know, it's good. Sandwiches, they're great, and you can bring in the chips. You know, I tried to bring in this girl's sister into the kitchen as well, and it didn't work out that way. I mean, it did work out because I made it work out.
Spoken like a man. When we were told that Pluto was no longer a planet, I called my second grade teacher and taunted her for telling me otherwise. But now scientists may be taking back their word again. It was on a routine mission to the Hubble telescope when adding a 3D lens to the telescope was discovered that for the first time, precious Pluto was nothing but a cocoa puff on the lens. It's been left there for years. Russ.
The truth is that although the media does say that it was a Cocoa Puff, I personally went to my own personal spaceship workshop and I built one and went out to the Hubble telescope. When I got out there, they were too afraid to touch this, what could have been radioactive Cocoa Puff. I grabbed it and I ate it, and it turns out that it was a crunch berry.
Yeah, I think that's totally, obviously, completely false. It was a Cocoa Puff. And I'm gonna say it right now. You're a Cocoa Puff denier. You know?
Are you?
Whoa! Oh, that's a pretty huge accusation.
I put it out there. I mean, hey.
That's a huge accusation, Russ.
Are you honestly saying that I deny that Cocoa Puffs could be in the galaxy? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Yes. That is exactly what I'm saying, because like you have your group that you go to at night. You have your meetings and you say, oh, Cocoa Puffs, they're not in space. Like when clearly you can't put crunch berries in a vacuum at all. Like they don't exist in space at all. But I think that you go to your meetings, they're like, oh, Cocoa Puffs, they don't, that's what I think.
Well, see, I have actually found on my own personal space explorations that there was really a grand scheme to why they called it the Milky Way galaxy.
Why did they call it the Milky Way galaxy?
It wasn't just this one occurrence of a crunch berry. There are no Cocoa Puffs in space, but I have found that Jupiter, the area around it, there are scattered pieces of Cheerios.
Oh, that sounds so good right now.
So the reason why it's called the Milky Way galaxy.
Because if you put them all together and ate them, it would be great. Except for crunch berries, because they don't exist in space. They can't. I know. I think we can agree to disagree, but the crunch berries is obviously. Have you seen their color? They're like blue. It's clear.
See, I think we can. The one thing that we can both agree on is that cereal's delicious, and that I could really go for a bowl right now.
I'm with you there, buddy.
Sorry, Jay-Z,
well, it's all fun and games until someone gets hurt or forgets to return from a game of hide-and-go-seek. This past week in the annual International Leader Game of Hide-and-Go-Seek, or ILGHGS, was called off when President Obama was never found. With the surprising twist when the U.S. called Ali Oxenfree to get our lost leader to come out, Osama bin Laden emerged with none other than Waldo. Now, Joe, can we really hold Waldo responsible for hiding?
My opinion, yes. Because I hate him. He's a jerk, okay? Like, I see him, I've seen him plenty of times before, and I look at him and I think, you're a jerk because you hurt my eyes with your fashion. You look at him, it's like what's going on there? It's just like a crazy candy cane, like assault. I feel assaulted when I look at him, I feel like he is a jerk for doing this with Osama bin Laden as well, because clearly he's trying to get Osama bin Laden to dress up like him and hurt everyone's eyes, and then eventually babies will cry and terrorists will rain fire over the skies again.
Russ,
the truth is that I think that since Waldo went missing way back and they started releasing the books trying to find him, I think he actually got lost within himself.
That's interesting.
He's just been trying to find himself in this book, and although there's all these other people that dress like him, including a dog, he's just trying to find who he truly is as a human being.
Now that's just interesting because you're making this an existential crisis. You're making this personal.
Yes.
I just can't stand that everyone's dressing up like this guy. I mean,
I feel like it is assault on our freedoms. Waldo clearly hates. Well, he's exercising his freedom, but he hates them at the same time. I think
it's interesting.
It's kind of like
I just want to get this in though. Does Waldo hate America? He did hide Osama bin Laden.
Right. So clearly he does hate America only because he's training Obama to wear clothes like him. And then you can't see him in the crowd. You're looking for him, you can't see him. But when you find him, he hurts your eyes. Okay, that's terrible. And that's what he's assaulting America. He's putting that into Osama's realm. He's passing the torch, I think, to Osama. I think it's a conspiracy. He's passing the torch to Osama so that he can put on the clothes and be hiding and then assault America. And I hate him. I don't want to find him. I'll say that right now. I don't want to find Waldo. I don't.
Well, we've already found him.
No, but I don't. I'm not gonna find Waldo. You know, people look for Waldo. I'm not gonna find. I'm not. Psh. You're like, where's Waldo? Like, I don't care. I'm gonna be like, hey, what's? I don't know. I don't know where he is, but it's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Russ.
See, I would totally disagree with you because I feel like he just fell into the wrong crowd. And about his fashion sense, I honestly have my birthday right after Christmas. So every time I see red and yellow stripes going right on top of each other, I think about candy canes. And I personally love candy canes. And I think if you don't like candy canes, I don't know if you like America, sir.
Well, that's
All right, gentlemen.
Like America.
At the beginning of February, we suffered a massive change to our surrounding area, and now scientists can hardly believe what they're saying. But it doesn't look like global warming will exist anymore from December to March. Our amateur reporter / meteorologist Kyle Pomfret has more.
Standing here at Milwaukee's Lakeshore, the epicenter of what now has become Snowmageddon. Snow mountains like these are scattered across the Midwest as well as the East Coast. Experts are now changing their term for global warming in January to a term called winter. With this new winter, weather patterns are expected to last from December 21st to March 20th with below freezing temperatures, and what used to be known as frozen global warming particles will now be known as snow. Have you ever experienced anything like this before?
Yes, I live in Wisconsin.
Yeah, every about December or so, January, this probably happens, yeah. A lot of snow.
Shocked and terrified by the apocalyptic snowfall, a select few were able to prepare and ride out the storm in Snowmageddon shelters, like this one. Others decided to construct monuments to the gods for mercy.
Well, we had such a mass amount of frozen global warming particles that we ended up building a 9-foot-high Vince Lombardi trophy in my backyard. Just to commemorate.
We found no such monument.
Appearance.
Tracy Zimmerman was among the many unfortunate survivors.
What was your experience with the snow?
A lot of shoveling and digging out my car, which took more than a day and 8 hours out of my paycheck.
With experts turning their back on global warming, there are still believers.
So do you believe that global warming was the reason for this gigantic snowfall?
I do believe that global warming was the reason that we got this snowfall.
Why do you say that?
I say that because the Earth is getting warmer and the polar ice caps are melting, and then the water from the polar ice caps are melting into the ocean, which has a high salt content. So if you remove the high salt content, it takes the oceans to freeze, which in turn lowers the temperature of the ocean, which then affects the jet stream at the North Pole, that takes the jet stream from the north to Europe, and Europe is a problem for everything. So I say that really global warming is probably the problem of Europe, and I think that if we wanted... This was a tactic started by the Nazis back in 1940. Hitler knew he was doomed, but he hated Europe, so he's just like, screw it. Let's just start global warming. We'll start this global warming.
I know, we couldn't take much more of it either, so we decided to end this story on a happier note.
So do you ever think the snow will end?
There is the summertime.
I'm Kyle Pomfret with LMAO News.
Now, Russ, you can't honestly believe that this new snow will replace the fear-mongering of global snow particles, global warming particles.
Well, the truth is that before there was this global global frozen particles, there was a thing that they used to call snow, and it's just making a comeback now. It was back in the times before we were really smart. Yes.
Yeah. Wait. So you're saying that snow used to exist before, and now it still exists? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Where are you getting your information?
I actually Googled it. You'd have to read my book to find out about it, though.
That's just that's crazy. I feel that you're talking nonsense. Well, so wait, hold on. So your stance is that snow is cold.
It's true, and you can read all about that in my book. Just Google it. Written by Russell Mutza at Walmart for $12.95.
Well,
Or we could probably just Google it.
No. You need to read the book to understand the guidelines.
I do hear that you have to be an expert to
yes.
to Google things. I hear that it does take a certain expertise. Actually, well, I do know that only because I am the professor of everything.
And I'm an expert Google user.
Clearly, you should listen to me.
Valid points, both of you, but we have to move on. We've all seen Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Well, it looks like Prince William has his own Chamber of Secrets over in England. The famous prince was found at a gay bar last week by tabloid journalists. When asked for his reason for being there, he responded that he was asking for wedding decoration advice. Joe, any thoughts on why Prince Charles would even need wedding decoration advice? Don't women normally handle that?
Yeah, well, the wedding decoration? Sure. Yeah, I mean, if you let them out of the kitchen, then
Now, why are we letting women out of the kitchen?
that is a good question. I feel it's the new agey hippie stuff, you know? Like, oh, let women out of the kitchen, you know, like, oh, feed them or something, you know? Or like I don't understand the idea behind this, or like, or you know, like letting them wear clothes, you know, like that's, to me, I'm like, come on, really?
I'm terrified because my little sister says she wants to go to school, and just the idea
Right,
of her
right,
getting
yeah. Next,
educated
next
and
she's
being
gonna be
able to,
like, hey, I want to vote or something, you know, like, get out.
you know, because as soon as they start questioning white men in power, I really think the whole system's just gone to heck. But Russ,
The truth is that I personally do not know the going-ons of these gay bars. As far as I know, it's where people go to have a really happy time, because that's the.
You know, I heard they do Pilates there. Actually, I heard that it is a club for people who like wearing colorful clothes, like purple.
Right.
They like wearing purple, apparently.
oh, like Prince.
Yeah, maybe Prince. Maybe he goes to the gay bars because he probably likes Pilates.
I
as
love
well.
Prince, and I can't imagine not loving Pilates.
Russ. See, I personally don't know if I would like Pilates, although I don't know where the idea of Pilates has come from. I've personally never heard of it.
Well, it possibly came from Steve Jobs only because he's a jerk, and, you know, and I think that jerks, in addition, well, you know, I feel like the only who likes Pilates, gay people and jerks.
I'm neither
It
of those.
clearly was invented by Steve Jobs. I mean, that's my, you know, it's my clearly a very well educated opinion that you should all just believe, take it for face value.
But we all just agreed that Prince is probably the most essential piece.
Prince is the man.
That is true.
Of American history.
mean,
I feel like he's the fighting force against Steve Jobs, you know?
And God bless him. Somebody has to.
Yeah.
What are Pilates, though, really quick? Because I've kind of
I
been
believe, I think it has something to do with the shake weight.
wandering mentally.
I think
What?
it's the shake weight, you know?
Oh!
You know? I think
Yeah.
I think when you know, I think, and then you bend over, and then you shake weight, you know, like this, right?
Oh, they do that at the Olympics sometimes.
Yeah, right. I think they're practicing that. They're like,
So
you know,
that's Pilates. Winning the I'm right. Winning the Olympics.
I would love to
is
live
Pilates.
I would love to win the Olympics. I think I should start doing Pilates.
yeah. I feel, you know, I feel like even though Pilates is evil, I think it has
Because of Steve Jobs, right?
Right. I think he put some of the evil powers into the practice of it, where people actually were benefiting and they were winning the Olympics.
See,
you know?
I think
in conjunction with the shake weight.
I think even when you would measure up Steve Jobs with Hitler, I think that the awesomeness of Prince is still pretty.
I think he probably could defeat them both.
All right, gentlemen, to
in a
cut you
space
off.
battle.
Finally, to close out the evening with sports, in which I personally have no interest at all, but I'm just reading teleprompter. It was reported that the real reason the Packers won the Super Bowl was because Ben Roethlisberger actually threw the game. Recently, this guy came out in tears with the truth about why he threw the game. He told reporters that President Obama spoke to him prior to the game, making a presidential order that if he won the game, that he'd have to shave his mountain man beard, along with the mountain beards of everyone on the team. So in a stroke of bravery to keep his manly facial hair, Roethlisberger purposely sucked on the Super Bowl Sunday, letting the Green Bay Packers win. Now, Russ, would you throw the most important game of your life to save your mountain man beard?
I personally would, but not because of that reason. I have my own little underlying facts, which I got from Google, which you have to read about in my book. I went down and talked to Ben Roethlisberger, and he said that before the game, Cameron Diaz came down with A-Rod and said that she loved his beard, and he wants nothing more than to have her feed him popcorn, and I can't argue with him.
Joe.
This is this is true. I don't know why you wouldn't want her to throw things at your face. Personally, I also feel like it's because when he started growing his beard, he put a picture of it on Facebook, and like he got like hundreds of likes, you know, like people pushing the like button, like nobody's business, you know. And they're like, I like that beard. And then, so I feel like if you were to shave it, no one would like him anymore. and they might actually put him in jail. You know,
God,
I mean, I would. I'm saying.
I personally didn't like him in the first place, but once he grew out that large, manly mountain man beard, I couldn't say no to him. I love that beard.
Oh, so you would make out with him?
No, I would not, but I would definitely go to Pilates classes.
What's wrong with him that you wouldn't make out
Me
with
too,
him?
yeah.
What?
I do not personally see men in that way, but I would do Pilates with him, but only if they played Prince music in the background.
All right.
We all have our standards.
I can live with that. Well, that's all the time we have tonight, and frankly, forever, because this is a one-time gig, and I'm presently out of a job. I'd like to thank my guests, Russ Mutza and Joe Ponce, for being here tonight. For all of us at LMAO News, we'd like to thank you and show you static shots of Milwaukee over our theme music. I'm Trevor Foley, and I'll be seeing you at the unemployment office. Good night, Milwaukee.